Welcome to Retro Eric. Today we're gonna take a look at my new West PC-800, see if we can get it to run, and we'll talk and explain a bit what makes this computer so special. The West PC-800 is one of the nicer looking machines I've ever seen. It has a matte black finish and the front is just filled with LEDs. It's just super cool. But now I've opened it up, so let's turn it on and see if it's working. Main switch on, alarm off. I haven't connected this. Main switch on, computer on, processor 6502. Oh yes, we have a picture. We have a picture. We have some stripes and stuff here, but that's normal when we go through this PAL card here. If I disconnect the PAL card, we'll get better signals. Let's turn it off and put it on the keyboard. I have connected the keyboard. First I had to remove a lot of dirt that was in the plug. Main switch on, computer on. This is not working as it should. Okay, I need to figure that out. This is the alarm card. This chip here, it's a Philips chip of some sort. You see the feet? I have no idea if that is anything to do why the keyboard is not responding as it should. Now I'm pressing Z and I'm getting a U. I'm pressing a Q and getting, yeah. Okay, I have to investigate more. Look at those feet. I've cleaned it with some vinegar. And before I put it back, I will use my glass fiber pen and just do the edges. Okay, I think this is good enough. I've cleaned this chip. The corrosion around the legs are now gone. I also tried to clean the socket. Okay. Oh yeah, we have a picture. Let's see if the keyboard is better. No, we still have a keyboard issue. Oh, it worked just for a few seconds, so that means the battery didn't have more power in it. Okay, so is something wrong with the keyboard or some electronics within the computer? In one way it is a good thing, because then we can have more fun repairing it. I have disconnected this alarm card. I just lifted it out of the socket. So let's see. Of course, the alarm, it says it's on, but the card is not in the slot. Yeah, you see? Now the keyboard is not working at all. I have seen this before with this West PC-800. Another computer I had, if I took out the card, there was no chance at all to get the keyboard working. And my theory is that this cable that goes from the alarm card goes to the green PCB you are not seeing, but it's just behind the front here. There's a PCB with all these LEDs and some electronics for the joystick and keyboard. And by measuring this, I see that this front card or PCB gets voltage from this one. I think it's 5 volt. So by not connecting that cable, or in this case removing the card from the slot, this front card doesn't receive that 5 volt. Okay. The alarm card is back in. Okay, as we can see, the keyboard doesn't now show something, but not the correct. Maybe you have seen that I'm holding my hand in front of this infrared receiver. The reason for that is that I've seen if you have the box or the casing open like now, and you have a strong light coming in from behind, that will disturb the infrared signals. I have another keyboard. Let's find that. This is my older keyboard. I know this is working. It is still receiving the wrong key presses. Okay, I've connected my old and working West PC-800 to the left. We have the new one that is where we have problem with the keyboard to the right. So let's try the working one. Yes. This old one works. The keyboard on the new one looks like it's very okay. Yep. So I don't like calling them old and new, so we'll call them number 1 and number 2. I have removed both cards and put them in front of their respective computers. So let's have a closer look. This is from computer number 1, and as you can see, something is missing here. I removed the speaker and I removed the battery. Let's move on to the alarm card for machine number 2. We clean the corrosion of this chip here, and but as we can see, the battery and the speaker is still in this one. My theory is that if we remove the battery, maybe this alarm card will also start working, because I think this is the problem why the keyboard is not working. It's just a hunch, so let's see when we replace or switch the cards. The alarm card from machine number 1 is now in machine number 2. You can see it's the card from number 1 because it's missing the battery and the speaker. It's booting up. Oh yes, good. So now we know that the problem is the alarm card. So my hunch was correct. So the first thing I'm going to do is to remove the battery. It is quite old, so maybe there's a short circuit or something in the battery. So let's start there. None of the cables are connected. As we can see, nothing happens. Let us connect only this top cable going from the card to the front card. Okay, so now this card is connected through this cable to this front card here. As we can see, we don't need this cable because this is probably only extra power for the alarm. And we don't need that bottom cable because that is only for the alarm pins to the back connector for the alarm central. So, what is the reason that we need this cable? My theory is that these LEDs here are of course controlled through this cable. Let's try to remove that cable and see if these still lights up. The off switch still lights up, but just hardly. You can see it's very dim. And also the modem lights up very dim. But of course the keyboard does not work. I had to turn off the camera for a while. It was too difficult to control both the camera and trying to find our error on the alarm card. I tried a lot of things. I tried removing the battery, of course. I cleaned up pins and reflowed a few pins where I felt it was necessary. I removed the speaker on the alarm card. The reason for that was basically because I did it on the other. I can't remember why, but anyway, I tried that. And nothing worked. So then I basically chickened out and went to my third West PC-800 that I also have. It doesn't work. There's something wrong with the main board. So I tried using the alarm card from that machine in this one and it worked perfectly. So that means I have a third West PC-800 with a non-functioning motherboard and a non-functioning alarm card. But it also means that I have two functioning West PC-800s. So let's take a closer look of the inside of these machines. As we can see by just looking at the motherboard, we recognize it as an Apple II motherboard. This motherboard is basically an Apple II clone, but with a built-in Z80 CPU and 64 kilobytes of memory. So basically this West PC-800 is an Apple II clone with a Z80 CPU and the alarm card. And as we mentioned before, the alarm card is also a 300 baud modem. At the front, we can see all these LEDs, joystick, keyboard, a key we can use to set the alarm to different moduses, and an infrared receiver. So what's next? Well, I've also tested the floppy drive, the original Apple II, the disk 2 floppy drive. I've connected that to my now new West PC and it works. I've also got some pictures here. This is Mario Brother, and I've turned off the sound, but as you can see, the game is working, but the colors are not good at all. So what I'm thinking now is that we switch over to the other machine that is set to NTSC, and we can have a look on the picture quality there. We have now connected the NTSC computer to an NTSC capable monitor, and the composite cable is soldered directly to the motherboard, and the motherboard is configured to be in NTSC. As we can see here, the colors look quite okay. Maybe it's not showing in the video, but the picture is very stable and I don't see any troubles with this at all. Compared to my memory of my other Apple II computer and original Apple II Euro Plus, I would actually say that the quality of this picture is better than at least the one I remember from my other Apple II Euro Plus. So I think we can conclude that putting the West PC in NTSC mode gives a good color picture. How come I have one machine set to NTSC and the other machine to PAL? Well, when these machines were produced, they would use an Apple II clone card, and that card would be configured in PAL modus. Actually, that is quite easy to do. These two solder blobs here, when they are soldered like this, the mainboard is set to PAL. But if we go over to the other machine and the same two solder pads, you see there is no blob there, and the left and right side is not connected. And that means that this machine is set to NTSC. And if we follow that gray wire there, soldered to the composite output, that goes all the way to the back panel, and we have a composite out signal. It's exactly the same on this machine, but as mentioned, the blobs are soldered together, so the mainboard delivers a PAL signal out. They also put a PAL RF modulator into this machine, and they have an antenna connector on the back, so you could use this card to get an RF signal and connect it to our ordinary TV. I don't like having that card installed because it disturbs the signal. You get these stripes, these vertical stripes. So it's actually better, if you don't want to use RF, just to remove that card altogether. This is the PAL encoder card. The RF output to the right, the one to the left here, is a composite out with PAL colors. I have now added a PAL card to the computer that is configured to produce NTSC on the composite out. Now, after adding the PAL card, I have moved the composite connection or the composite wire going to the TV from the back panel and directly into the PAL card's composite output. As we can see, the colors are not good at all. I have tried adjusting the colors, but this is the best I get on the PAL card. We are now using the RF output on the PAL card which is inserted in the machine that is configured on the motherboard to be NTSC. As we can see, the colors are not okay at all. The background should be black, but now it's more greenish. This is the PAL computer with a PAL card, which we are now using the composite output on the PAL card. And we are now using the composite output on the PAL card. As we can see, the colors are not good at all. The blue background should be black. And that is just one of the colors that is wrong. This is the PAL computer, and I'm using the PAL card in RF mode. And this is the best picture I can get after tuning as much as I can. And as we can see, it's not even syncing. I don't know if the West PC was produced like this, if this always was a problem. But I've tried this now with 2 computers and 3 different PAL cards. If you have any suggestions of what we can do or what we can try, please let me know in the comments. We are now using the PAL machine. The motherboard is configured to produce a PAL signal on the composite out, which we are connected to now. To summarize, what have we learned? We have learned that configuring the motherboard in NTSC gives a very good NTSC picture with colors. But of course, then you need an NTSC capable monitor. Using the PAL card does not produce the correct colors at all. And also the pictures are unstable. So if you know the correct way of configuring a West PC-800 to produce a good and stable color image in PAL, please let me know. I connected the Apple II floppy card I received the other day, and as we can see, it works perfectly in this West PC-800 together with a Disk 2 from Apple. What else can we say about this computer? Well, it has a ROM card all the way to the back here. I think it is character ROM and basic, but I'm not 100% sure. We also have a ROM on the alarm card, and that ROM is actually easily accessible. Just press the key marked alarm and you will get straight into the Alarm Central program that also functions as a modem software. So you didn't have to run a program for a floppy disk to access the modem, and you could just use it by the built-in software in ROM to connect to your BBS. As mentioned before, the keyboard is connected to this DB9 cable, but you can also use it wirelessly if you have a battery that is working. This battery is too old to keep power for more than a few seconds. You have some functions key that you usually don't see in an Apple II clone. For instance, we can see here that we have both cat and deer on the same key. And that means that when you're in Apple DOS, it means deer, and when you're in CPM, it means catalog. It's time to round off this fairly long video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have learned a few tricks about the West PC-800, and I hope you had fun watching it. I will be back with another video on the West PC-800. That will be more a documentary where I will talk about the history behind the company and the ideas behind the computer. And I'll also go more in depth on what hardware it has and what capabilities the machine have. So until then, please check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.